Well, hello, y'all. You're listening to an all-new episode of the Christian Gray Snow Show, a podcast from Hurrdat Media. I'm your host, Christian Gray Snow, and today we are checking in with our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City ladies, plus going to hit on some other various Housewives hot topics. I don't really have much more to say here, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go make a fake choir just to have a storyline. Let's just move on. Heather Gay. All right, we are back with the ladies of Salt Lake City. It's already episode 6 of season 3. So, I mean, we're already, halfway, a third of the way through the entire season. So, somehow, Jen is still maintaining her innocence, which we're all really surprised by. No, not really. But yes, episode 6 already. Also, if y'all can hear something in the back, it's my laundry. Apologies in advance. Your girl's going to a screening of Buying Beverly Hills, Mauricio's new Netflix show tonight. And of course, I waited to the last minute to prep an outfit. So everything's in the laundry right now, and I'm working on it last minute. So we're going to talk about first Lisa Barlow and her son Jack, and the topic of college. All right, we are back with Lisa and her son. They're talking about, whether Jack, he really just doesn't know if he wants to go to college or not. Because, why would he? I mean, his parents, they have these amazing businesses, right? One of them is his. Lisa tells him, you need to go to college because at college is where you learn life skills, how to live. And she says, for example, I didn't grow up with a mom who cooked, insinuating that it was at college she learned how to cook. And Jack clocked her ass. He really did. He said, I mean, I also didn't grow up with a mom that cooked. It be your own kids. It really will. Mic drop. So I think it's good that Lisa, is trying to push Jack to go to college. But look, it's weird to me that, I'm sorry. It's still weird to me that we pretend Vita Tequila and Fresh Wolf are these amazing companies. Someone did tell me that you can buy Fresh Wolf on Amazon. I did not know that, so I will give them that. That's a seemingly big deal. But I don't know. They just act like they have all this money and have all this business sense and business salve. And where is it? I've never seen Vita Tequila in real life in the wild ever. Okay. So, anyway, I get why she's pushing him to go to college, but I also think she needs to be realistic on camera. Come on. Yeah, our companies are decent, but I mean, they're not millionaires, are they? They're not like the Bethany Frankels of Utah with these little cocktails. Surely not. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about Lisa Barlow. I am going to say this, and I'm probably going to get in trouble. I think that she's overrated. I do. I'm just going on a rant at this point. I'm literally just rambling. Not even looking at my notes anymore. Yeah, I just think she's overrated. She had that tweet last night or after the episode where she was all she's all oh, I've never done sexual favors for anything. I deserve gifts for breathing. And people are like, oh my God. And I'm just I mean, it's a cute line, but it's not that good. Also, it was a tweet. Calm down, y'all. I don't know. I just don't get the hype. I think she's a great housewife. I don't get that hype. Just my opinion. That's my opinion. Jingle here. Blah, 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 blah. We also learn in this episode that Justin, Whitney's husband, lost his job, which really, really fucking sucks. And seemingly because Whitney is on reality TV. That's what it seems like. And I will say, it was heartbreaking to see him cry. I hate seeing grown men cry. Oh, stop. So yeah, he cried, over not even losing his job, but as he was preparing the statement that he was going to say online and stuff. And, because he said people were blowing him up, wanting to know what was happening. So, honestly, corporate America is a piece of shit. Fuck corporate America. They work people to death and then they drop you over nothing because your wife is on TV. Kiss my ass. I hate it here. And in corporate America, they want everything from you, everything, but they don't want to give you shit ever. That's what I've learned. So fuck corporate America. I'm with you, Justin. I do hope that he has, since landed a good gig. I really don't know what the update is on that. So hopefully we get to find something out, towards the end of the season or maybe even later at the reunion and see what his current employment status is. But, I did love Whitney having her petty moment. She's like, look, the company already dropped him. So like in her confessional at the end of her conversation with Justin, she calls the company shit. She's like, fuck y'all. So petty Betty, I would have done the same thing. Y'all wanna treat my husband like shit? I'm gonna talk shit about y'all on a national/global platform. Thank you. All right, we also get to see Meredith go to dinner with Angie Harrington. Okay, as we know, Angie, she's an official friend of this season for season 3. Of course, we've seen her. Obviously, we saw her last season. She and Lisa Barlow were really, really good friends, but they had that big falling out over, caterer gate. Anyway. But I just want to acknowledge, I feel like this dinner is definitely like a reminder, like a subtle reminder from producers, like just showing us just how like bad the relationship between Meredith and Lisa is in this moment. Because Lisa despises Angie, and Lisa and Meredith were besties. And it didn't seem that Meredith and Angie were ever really like that close or whatever at all. So for Meredith to be sitting down with her, knowing that her ex-bestie despises this bitch, speaks fucking volumes. You know what I'm saying? And at this dinner, we find out that Angie's husband, Chris, I believe is his name, he built an Instagram account to troll Lisa Barlow. Okay. However, even though he was trolling Lisa Barlow, the account, as we all know now, is called ShahXPosed. The math ain't mathin'. Are you trying to expose Barlow or are you trying to expose Shah? Which one is it? So anyway, listen to this clip of him admitting it.
We were getting accounts that were saying things that only I had talked to her about.
In a very immature moment, so as a 52-year-old man, please judge me later, but I created a fake account.
Listen, I just want to say, I am here for Angie being on the cast. But she also said this thing like, well, he did it because, he created the fake the Finsta because I was being attacked in the media. Media? What media? I Googled Angie Harrington, like attacks, Angie Harrington backlash, Angie Harrington under fire, all that shit, and got
nothing was there.
But speaking of Angie being good for the show, I really do think, I think she would be. I think she is good for the show. I think in her confessionals, I think on camera, she definitely seems like a natural. Clearly, they're loaded. Clearly, there is some level of just desperation to be involved in the mix and to be famous and be on camera, which I do not. You will never hear being shamed from me. Only thing I've wanted since I was a kid was to be famous. I feel you, bitch. Do you. If you want to get on camera, you get on camera and do what you got to do to get there. However, they are shameless. And I do think that Chris Harrington's social media antics, like making fake Instas to pretty much attack and troll the women of the cast when you're a grown-ass man, I think something like that could prohibit Angie from ever getting a snowflake or maybe even being invited back next season, regardless of how she does this season. Because how can the network sign on with someone doing that? First of all, and then openly admitting it as if there were no problems. Yeah, don't you have kids? Y'all have a family. What the fuck are you doing? So it's getting weird. I'm rooting for them, but it's also getting weird. It's I like them. I like the energy they're bringing to the show, minus that. But I also, at the same time, don't know how you come back from something like that. So I'm torn. 2 notes from this dinner with Meredith and Angie Harrington, okay? I do want to say, look, while Chris might be an asshole for what he did, Jen Shaw should take a note from Chris Harrington. And by that, I mean that she should just openly admit to her cyber crimes versus going on for months and months and months and then admitting it. Let me tell you, baby, Chris was having that dinner and he said mid-steak, yeah, I made a fucking Finsta. It is what it is. He didn't give no fucks, okay? But Jen, as we all know, even see, as if you could see the preview for next week's episode, literally is screaming about being innocent, which no, you're not. Second note from the dinner with Meredith and Angie Harrington is Meredith Marks's drink order. Okay. Now listen, I love a housewife that likes to drink. Okay. Look at my favorite housewives. Vicki, hello. Kyle likes to whoop it up. I like a housewife that knows how to throw down. Okay. Meredith, if I got Meredith's drink, I get a vodka soda, but Meredith got a vodka on the rocks with a splash of soda. Meredith requests her vodkas the way bitches be getting mimosas at brunch on Sunday. I want a mimosa with a splash of orange juice, just a splash. Meredith said just a splash of soda. I want a tiny bit of carbonation, bitch, and the rest liquor. You got it? So no, I don't know. I don't know why I thought that was fucking hilarious. I even went to my little group chat after it. I was like, did y'all hear her drink order? Like, after one or two of those, I would be on my ass. So good for you, Meredith. Good for you. We also get to see this week that Heather, in her never-ending attempts to separate herself from the Mormon church without actually separating herself from the Mormon church in the way Whitney did, like actually finalizing it. Anyway, we are now seeing her start a choir. Her reason for starting the choir, she says she doesn't go to church anymore, but she misses like the feeling of, congregation amongst the choir and the feeling of singing with friends and family. So you guessed it, Heather is starting a damn choir. Now, Heather coming up in this bitch and saying, let me be Simon Cowell was not on my bingo card this year. Let me just put that out there. But what a fucking storyline. We're no strangers to storylines that might be a reach. Let's think about, my good girl Tamra. Remember when Tamra had her little fake baby doll, like they send girls home with in high school to like babysit, and like it wakes you up in the middle of the night crying? Like that was Tamra's storyline one year. Horrible. Marathons, fitness competitions, house flips. We've seen these, there goes my washing machine. We've seen these storylines, play out over the years where it just seems like they're just doing something to be doing something for the sake of the show, even if it be a business, candles, something like that, However, a choir storyline, we have not seen. Okay. And you got to give it to the bitch for creativity. I will say, do I think it's whack as shit? Absolutely. Do I think it's also kind of fucking incredible at the same time? Somewhat. Yeah. So, it is what it is. I don't know what's going to happen of this storyline, but I did say think it was fucking hilarious when Jen Shah rolled up and there was like two people outside the audition and she was like, I was expecting American Idol. Okay. All right, so just some final Salt Lake City thoughts. I think this is the thing about Salt Lake City. The crazy thing about it is, like, I ride for people hard on this show, but not necessarily the people that they ride for. Okay? Like, I like Whitney, but I don't really fuck with Lisa Barlow, and they're kind of like a thing right now. I really, really like Meredith, but I don't really fuck with Jen Shah at all, and I find some of Heather's actions questionable. But I don't care. Like, I don't care that they're all over the place, because I am, even as a viewer, am all over the place, which I feel like normally I would not be a fan of. But in this instance, I am. So, I don't care. I just think that, they keep us on our toes. The alliances are ever, they're shifting all the fucking time. I believe Salt Lake City's top tier people. So if you aren't watching, you should. They all low key hate each other. They're only in alliances for the sake of the show, and it's incredible. I saw a tweet also from Danny Pellegrino. It summed up my feelings as well about Salt Lake City perfectly. This is what he said. I think what's fun about Salt Lake City is that you can't predict the way it's going to go. Some of the other franchises feel like they're on autopilot, but this one, they are tweeting obituaries, launching choirs, and facing jail time, all with equal emphasis. And he's right. Like Salt Lake City, they are that unpredictable franchise. They're the girl that always gives. You just never know what they're going to give. So be sure y'all are tuning in only on Wednesday nights and then streaming on Peacock the next day. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I also wanted to briefly touch on the Judds concert that I went to last week. I had a few people DM me and say that they wanted to hear about it. Absolutely incredible. My friend Henry and I were having some pre-concert drinks across the street before the show and ended up getting some last minute, like we went on StubHub and bought more tickets at the last minute because they were second row for like $400. And we were second row for Martina McBride, Wynonna, Brandi Carlile made a surprise appearance. Faith Hill was there. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I danced my ass off. I cried. I sang so hard. I think I left like some of my vocal cords at the Rep Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. It was just incredible. And I saw something too this week, like speaking of female country artists, Dolly Parton recently said that she is not going to probably not do any more tours ever again. She might do like special shows here and there, like a weekend of shows, something like that. But she said she's never going to tour again. And, even while I was at the Judds, last weekend, it was wonderful. But you couldn't help but think about, wow, like I'm so regretful of not going and seeing Naomi perform while I had the chance, So I'm saying all that to say, go see your favorites. Go see your heroes while you can. You never know whenever they're going to not be here anymore, or maybe they'll reach a place where that, performing and touring is just not something that brings them happiness anymore. And so they will rightfully step away from it. And, and I just am grateful to have seen Wynonna, to have seen Faith Hill, to have seen Martina and Brandi, to have seen these women who I consider fantastic, legendary, historical vocalists and musical artists. I would be lying to say there wasn't a little bit of sadness just in me there thinking like, wow, like I really, really should have taken advantage and seen Naomi at a chance when I had a chance, So if you are tempted to go see anybody, if it's a comedian, if an author that you love is doing a book signing, whether it be, a singer that's doing a concert, do everything in your realm of possibility to make that happen for yourself, because you deserve it. They deserve it. And, YOLO, life's short. Go have some fucking fun. And speaking of fun, I have not talked about this yet, but I'm going to talk about it here. Now, I love Faith Hill. Love her. Would die for her. But something was going on with her at the concert, the Judds concert in Lexington, Kentucky. Like I said, I was second row. And even me, who was drunk, could sense that something was going on. Okay. She didn't know the words a lot of the time. I could have heard this, but I'm 99% sure I heard Wynonna say something along the lines of, oh, so we're just doing it's karaoke or something like that. Like as in Faith just like showed up. And it was giving that Faith didn't rehearse or seem as prepared as maybe Wynonna would have liked for her to. And I wasn't going to say anything about it, but like I talked with my friend about it when I was there. When we were leaving, I was like, there was tension between them two on stage. I'm telling you. And there was even one point, y'all, like Wynonna stopped down a performance because Faith fucked up and made them redo, like start it over again. Yes. And then someone messaged me on Instagram and was like, why is no one talking about Faith Hill? Like you were there. Why are you not talking about it? And I hadn't seen anyone else talking about it. So I was like, I'm not bringing it up. But now I am. No, something was up. I love Faith. I will always love Faith. I don't hold it against her. I just think she didn't come to the show as prepared as she should have been. And it was a very, very, very important, monumental, historical show. I mean, it's the venue where the University of Kentucky's basketball team plays. So they have all these banners up of like times they've won and championships they've been in. They've never put one musical artist banner in the rafters. And that night we got to watch them put a banner in the rafters acknowledging the Judds concert that night with the date on it, the final tour. So, I mean, it was a very special thing. And I think that Wynonna might have been a little pissed that Faith didn't seem as professionally prepared as maybe she should have. Does not take away from the fact that Faith had incredible vocals. Also, at the end, like the show was over and Faith's like, do another one, keep going. And Wynonna's like, she's not paying for it, so I guess I can keep going. Like, it was, again, I think I was just drunk and high on euphoria of just being in the midst of legends and like powerhouse vocalists. But looking back and thinking back and watching back on some of my videos, I'm like, something might have been going on. I'm just saying. So, but anyway, yes, go see your favorites, save up your coins, stay in a cheap hotel, find someone to hang out with and go, meet strangers in line, make new friends. It's all worth it. You know, go do it.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
All right, everybody. We're going to close out with the best news that I've probably ever gotten. Not ever, but it's up there. I was so excited a couple of weeks ago when photos leaked of Vicki filming a scene in Laguna Beach with Tamara and Shannon for Real Housewives of Orange County season 17. Obviously, I was thrilled to see that. But then I woke up to like all these messages this week. It was a Monday. And Vicki had been photographed filming in Mexico with the women. Vicki is on a cash trip. I win. Okay. So obviously I text Vicki, super thrilled. I was like, holy shit. She told me teeny tiny little details about how the trip happened, but I'm not saying anything because I want to watch it all play out. I just want it to all do what it needs to do. I am just happy that the OG of the OC, listen, I don't care if they don't give Vicki a guest role. I don't care if they don't give her a friend role. I just want her involved. I want her involved in the mix because she deserves to be involved in the mix. That's just facts. You know, she doesn't have to hold an orange. She doesn't have to have an official title, but to have her engaging with the cast on this show in any capacity, to me, will always just add that nostalgia factor that every franchise needs. So super, super, super excited to see producers embracing her, welcoming her back into the mix, even if it's not an official thing. Super excited to see the women filming with her. Really, really happy to see my fave girl getting the respect she deserves. You know what I'm saying? Woohoo! All right, everybody, that is all for this week's episode of the Christian Gray Snow Show. As always, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I appreciate you kicking it off with me. As always, don't do anything that I wouldn't do, which means you're free to go be a crazy hoe. Be sure you're following me on Instagram, Christian Gray Snow. Get you some Housewives merch at theslutpigshop.com, and make sure you're following me on Twitter at the CGS Show. I can't wait to see and talk to y'all next weekend. Pesos. Have a good one.